Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be making a tumbler design that's been stuck in my head for a while, and I think this is a good time to make it. I've already taped off the bottom of my tumbler, which if you're wondering why I would tape it off or how, I will link a video down in the description box that'll explain all of that. I've also sanded to prep my tumbler, so I am ready to go. Today I'm using my exotic Leopard vinyl print. You can find this at FlynnSistersSupplyShop.com, and I'm cutting out kind of an organic, almost V-shape, triangle shape from the vinyl. I'm going to trim the edges so that when they sit against the top and bottom rim of my cup, they're nice and straight. You're going to see what I mean here in a minute. I'm also going to trim off any white raw edges that might get in my way later. I'm going to line up that straight edge that I cut along the top rim here, and then I'm going to place some masking tape just to keep it anchored in place while I do the same for the other V-shaped triangle that I cut that I'm going to put along the back side, and I'm going to line that straight edge from that second piece along the straight bottom tape line that I created earlier. If you're not taping off the bottom of your tumbler, of course, you can make that cut different. This is just how I'm going to be managing the tops and the bottoms for this particular design. Once I've got my vinyl pieces positioned how I want them to be positioned, I am going to peel back a small inch of my vinyl there to anchor it on the side. And then using my hand, I'm just going to firmly press the remaining parts of the vinyl down on the cup, letting my hand kind of push against that backing paper as I press it against the cup so we don't get any kind of wrinkles or bubbles. I'm going to repeat that step to apply the second piece. And the point of doing this now is we are going to have these vinyl pattern pieces peekabooing through our glitter later on. It's going to create a really pretty effect. You'll see what I mean later, and I'm so excited to show you. Once we've got our vinyl applied, I'm ready to paint my base paint. I'm going to be using some spray paint, and I don't want to get any overflow spray onto my vinyl. So I'm going to tape off any parts of my vinyl that I absolutely don't want any paint. I'm going to leave some open though, because I do want to have a little peekaboo section where I have a little glitter island in the middle of that vinyl triangle to create some depth and interest. I'm going to be using 4 different colors of spray paint, sprayed just randomly with some blending, but not too much. This is going to be kind of the roadmap for where I'm going to be placing my glitters in kind of a calico type pattern where there'll be some flow and blending, but not too much. I just don't want big unblended dots of color. I'm going to list all the spray paints that I used below, but generally I pulled colors that match from my vinyl pattern that also are going to match the glitters that we're going to be applying over the top of this. Once I've got all my spray paints applied, as you can see here, we're going to remove the tape. And once everything's dry to the touch, I'm ready to apply my glitter. I'm going to be using epoxy to adhere my glitter today. I've already mixed about 5 milliliters of my fast curing epoxy, and I'm going to be spreading it with a gloved finger, mainly to the areas that I'm going to be applying glitter. For example, these large sections of the vinyl print, I'm going to not put epoxy on there because obviously I don't want glitter going into those areas. However, I do need to have enough of the epoxy spread into those vinyl sections so that I can achieve a kind of blend or fanned effect from where the glitter ends and the pattern begins, if that makes sense. Once my epoxy is applied, I'm ready to start sprinkling on my glitters. I will list all the glitters that I'm using down below in the description box. I'm going to start with my chunkiest glitter first. In this case, we're using Sedona from Batty Glitters. You can find this at myramakes.it.com. Code JFLYNN will save you. And you can see I'm just sprinkling that in by hand to the copper sections that I had spray painted earlier. I want to go very light with my coverage right now because I can always add more. I just can't take away. And right now we're kind of still building the rough draft for where we want everything placed. Next, I can start going in with some of my finer cut glitters. I love this brown. It's called Empress, and I'm just going to be sprinkling this lightly into all of my sprayed brown sections, trying to kind of give a little bit of blend and fan. I don't want everything so concentrated like I just dumped a spot of glitter on, if that makes sense. So where the glitter begins and ends, there's sort of a gradient of where it falls on top of the vinyl pattern. So everything doesn't look so choppy and more like it blends and flows, if that makes sense. Next, I'm going to go in with this beautiful custom mix gold called Rain. And again, we're just sprinkling really lightly into each of the colored sections that we had base painted earlier as our guide, and trying to blend from each color to the next. I just repeated these steps all the way around the cup, going through all the different glitter colors that I wanted to use, and of course just continuing to blend coverage as I'd go until I got the desired coverage and sparkle and texture from that glitter. So here's what we ended up with. You can see that beautiful pattern shining through. It doesn't look like we just slapped it on and the glitter all choppy around. Everything looks like it really blends and flows, which is exactly what I wanted. I'm going to let this sit on my rack to dry for a couple hours before we move on to the next step. Remember, your dry times may vary based on the type and brand of epoxy that you use to adhere your glitter. Once this is dry, I'm actually not going to seal it. I'm just going to brush off the excess glitter, and because that epoxy adheres so well to my glitter, it's not really going to shift around when we go to epoxy. And if it does, it's okay if some of that glitter gets into the vinyl because it's all just kind of part of the design. I've got 30 milliliters of my Flynn Sisters Fast Cure that I used for my first coat. I just applied that like I normally would and used my torch to pop any remaining bubbles. And of course, don't forget to take off your tape at this step, okay? I let that dry for a few hours. Remember, your dry times may vary based on the type and brand of epoxy you're using. But now I'm ready to move into kind of the cool paint distressing technique that we're going to use behind our main focal point decals. I'm going to tape off all the parts of my tumbler that I don't want to have spray painted. And then I'm going to take it over to my spray booth and I'm going to make a layer of black spray paint. We want to make sure that the painted section that we're painting is wide enough to accommodate our decals so that we can see them after we apply them. That's the point of putting this distressed paint down. It's so I can see that decal through our glitter and everything, okay? So we're going to lay that nice thin layer of black paint down at the spray booth. Once that's dried to the touch, I'm going to put a nice thick layer of flat white spray paint. It's really important that you're using flat black paint for the bottom and flat white paint for the top. Otherwise, this is going to be messy and you're not going to have a good time, okay? So after I got those 2 layers of paint on there, I would even go as far as to do 2 layers of white paint just to make sure you have really nice coverage. Once that's dried to the touch, we're ready to start on our distressing. We're going to remove all of that tape. And I've got some acetone here, and I've also got some 91% rubbing alcohol. I'm using regular acetone, not nail supply acetone. I'm using the acetone you get from the hardware store. And I've got a rag here. We're going to use the acetone on our rag to remove any large sections of paint. And then I'm going to go through with some rubbing alcohol on my rag and clean up all of the muddled up paint that we just removed. So it's kind of like wax on, wax off. So acetone for the big parts, 91% rubbing alcohol for the distressing. If you wanted to do 91% rubbing alcohol for the whole thing, you could. It's just going to take a lot of elbow grease. So definitely want to use acetone for around the edges. And then every time you remove some paint with that rubbing alcohol to clean everything up, you reveal some of the black underneath. And in some cases, you can see even the glitter underneath if you remove enough. The reason I left so much texture in the beginning after I did my first layer of epoxy is so that we see texture through this paint. So all those little holes and like burn mark things, those are imperfections in my epoxy. So the more imperfections in my epoxy from that first coat that we did, the better. So if you want this to be more of a smooth paint distressing, do 2 layers of epoxy first. If you want this to be more distressed, only do 1 layer. As long as it's enough to cover your glitter and everything underneath, you'll be fine. It also has to be kind of smooth enough, I guess, to apply these decals, but they're UV DTF, so we can put them on almost anything. But you'll see when I go over the textured parts of the epoxy, it'll come right through the paint to create these little dots and fun depth and texture into that paint. If you find that your white paint is just getting really, really dirty, then you need to go in with just the rubbing alcohol and a clean part of your rag and really put in some elbow grease, and it should clean up nicely for you. Here you can see a close-up of what it looks like when you go over bumpy parts of the epoxy and start distressing it through the paint. It really creates a fun effect. I'm going to repeat these steps until I'm happy with the distressing that I've got from this panel, and then I'm going to apply my UV DTF decals. I definitely should have waited to apply these decals until after I epoxied over this, but I was short on time, so I just went ahead and did it. I don't recommend applying these at this stage because you can pull up the paint with that carrier sheet, which I definitely did. If you make the same mistake I did, it's okay. I just went in and touched things up with a white acrylic marker and it was fine. Okay, no big deal. But anyway, if you don't want to repeat the same mistake, just epoxy over this first and then apply it. But whatever. Okay, after I got my 2 decals on there, I went in and did some additional distressing. So once I saw how those decals fit onto that panel that I created, I wanted to take off some more paint. So that's also kind of why I risked it for the biscuit on this one, is because I really wanted to see if I needed to add or remove any more paint. By this stage, you also want to go around with just some clean rubbing alcohol and a clean rag and make sure you get any remaining paint. Anything left at this stage that you forgot will get covered with epoxy and you're not going to be able to get it out and it'll ruin your cup. So really take the time to get all of that excess paint off. I'm going to go over everything with a tack cloth just to remove any excess debris from all that work we were doing. And I'm going to apply a layer of my Flynn Sisters Fast Cure epoxy. This is just a building layer, so I've got about 20 milliliters here. I'm going to apply it like I normally would. You'll notice that my bottom is not taped off. I'm just going to wipe any excess epoxy that got down there at the bottom. That shouldn't be there. I'm going to hit it with my torch to pop any remaining bubbles, and then I'm going to let this sit for a few hours before we move on to the next step. By this point, our cup is looking pretty rough, so we're going to clean and sand everything up here. I've got some rough bits from some glitter poking up too, so we're just going to sand all of that down. First, I'm going to go around the top rim with my craft knife to remove any excess epoxy. This is something I always do behind the scenes, but I rarely include it in a video. And recently I got a question in our Flynn Sisters community group about what you do with excess epoxy on your rims. So this is something I kind of do before the final coat, and then after the final coat, after everything's dried up and I'm cleaning everything too, I'll go around and just remove any excess epoxy with my sharp knife. No, I am not scratching the metal. I'm just scraping enough to remove that epoxy. You'll notice that I'm just applying some hard pressure with the tip of that knife is enough to pop off any kind of stubborn drips that got inside of my cup, but I'm not pressing enough to where I'm scratching the stainless steel. I'm also going to sand around that top rim with a sanding block. You can use anything between a 60 to 220 grit is fine. And I'm going to sand down enough to expose a fine line of stainless steel. I'm also going to smooth out any rough bits there along the top. This is where our final coats of epoxy will adhere to create the final seal for our tumbler on the outer rim rather than the very top rim where it's more vulnerable. I'm also going to go around the sides with some sandpaper wrapped around an old sanding block, and I'm going to sand everything down nice and smooth that might be bulging or pokey before we prepare for our final coat. Since I've got everything sanded and smooth, I'm going to clean this up with some rubbing alcohol and paper towel. If I have to, I can rinse it at the sink with some dish soap and water. We're going to dry everything thoroughly and make sure we remove any debris with a tack cloth before we move in to apply our final coats of epoxy. For my final coat, I've got 30 milliliters of my Flynn Sisters Artist Cure. I'm probably going to end up using about half of that, but just in case. I'm cleaning up any debris with my tack cloth, and now I'm going to apply this like I normally would, avoiding the bottom of my tumbler. You notice I don't have it taped off. Once we get this applied evenly and we haven't missed any spots, I'm going to wipe off the bottom of my tumbler with some rubbing alcohol and paper towel to get any excess epoxy. Then I'll hit this with my torch to pop any remaining bubbles. And then I'm going to let it dry in my dry box. This is going to keep any debris, bugs, or anything off of my cup while it's drying. It's also going to cut the dry time in half. In some cases, I can cut my dry time down by nearly 75%. You can find the link for this drying box down below in the description box along with a discount code. All right, and from here, we're just going to let it dry. And that's it. So that's the end of this tutorial. I absolutely love how this one turned out. I think I'm going to keep it for myself because this is totally my style. Let me know what you guys thought about this one in the comments. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I do try to upload new videos every week. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you again soon. If you loved that last video, you can check out the next one here, and be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok for more great content. You can shop our products at FlynnSistersSupplyShop.com and subscribe to our channel for new videos every week. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you again soon.